This is the Leitmotif and Movement Podcast, a father and son's journey into the vast worlds of music. I am your host, Mike Ficklin, and joining me on this epic musical journey is my son,
Michael Ficklin.
This show is dedicated to the discussion of music and introducing Michael to music from the past and present. We will mainly be discussing the genres of rock, hard rock, and heavy metal. We will also from time to time dive into film and video game scores, and we'll sprinkle in some surprises along the way. Michael, what have you been listening to this week?
The Love album.
Oh yeah? Did you end up liking it that well?
Yeah. Of course, the assignments.
Got any particular favorite songs?
There's only one real song to favor. Is it really you?
Is it really you?
Yeah.
Don't really like anything else from it?
I mean, I do. It's just, I really like that song.
Yeah, it's a really good tune. Really good tune. So nothing other than the Loathe record and the couple of things we're going to talk about today?
Yeah, and maybe my big Spotify playlist. Probably. I did listen to that, but nothing really.
Okay. Well, for me, I went through and started checking out a band called, I believe it's pronounced Aquilus or Achilles. They are an atmospheric metal band out of Melbourne, Australia, and they incorporate elements of neoclassical music, folk metal, and black metal into their sound. I've listened to all their records and have come away deeply moved. There's a dark beauty to what they do. The works are big and sweeping. They would feel right at home as the score to a film, I think. I thoroughly enjoyed my journey, and I can't wait to return to it again. It's great stuff. Also checked out the new EP from Me and You. This is called The Divine Evolution, Extinction, and Other Modern Prophecies, Volume 1. This is beautifully written and produced. It's just a terrific vocal performance involved. It's varied in its musical compositions. I'm really looking forward to hearing part 2. Another record I checked out is from a group called Am I in Trouble? This record is called Spectrum. And man, this was an absolutely amazing ride from start to finish. It's very hard to pin down an actual subgenre of metal to categorize this album in because there's so many different sounds and influences at play. This is so much more than your typical black metal, though. It feels huge and expansive, almost on the verge of being proggy. It's an incredible piece of art that you should experience with a good set of headphones. Also checked out the new single from Cincato called Codex. Not really a lot to say on this one. It's kind of hard to put into words the description of what Charlie Robbins does musically. It's really complex and beautiful. I hear the influence of Latin music in the songwriting. I think he is an outstanding guitar player. It's a really fun listen. Most of his stuff is. It's good stuff. Also checked out the new record from Hours called Rocket's Red Glare, and I had absolutely no idea this was coming out, but it was a happy surprise to be sure. I've always enjoyed Hours. They're an alternative indie rock band with various influences. Jimmy Nico is an incredible singer and has a gift for songwriting. This is a really solid collection of songs, and perhaps my favorite material they've done since 2002's Precious, and I love Precious. One of my favorite records ever. And the last thing I checked out this week, and actually I just listened to this a couple of times today, is the new record from Mark Tremonti called The End Will Show Us How. I continue to be impressed with Mark's vocals. His confidence is at an all-time high. As a guitarist, he's always been an absolute badass, and I really dig this new solo record. There are some absolute certified bangers on this record. I think you would really enjoy this, Michael. Do you have anything else for this segment?
No.
All right. So we will move on to our next segment. This is the art of discovery. And we've got a solid selection of music from independent artists. Our first selection is from a band that I mentioned that I had been listening to in our previous segment. This is from Me and You. This is a song called Fear is the Little Death That Brings Total Obliteration, and is from their brand new EP, The Divine Evolution, Extinction, and Other Modern Prophecies, Volume 1. And once again, that was Me and You with their song Fear is the Little Death That Brings Total Obliteration. And again, that's from their brand new EP, The Divine Evolution, Extinction, and Other Modern Prophecies, Volume 1. Volume 1 is out now, with Volume 2 to follow on February 19th. You can purchase this digitally right now, or you can purchase a CD which contains both volumes right now. Michael, what did you think of this song?
This was a great song.
Enjoyed it?
Great, yes. It'd be being added to my Spotify list.
Awesome. Glad you really liked it. I think you should check out the entire EP. It's really solid.
All right.
Me and You are a post-hardcore alt-rock metal band out of Minnesota, and I was advised that this song is a commentary on organized religion and Christian nationalism. Interesting song context, right?
Oh.
Thought-provoking, right?
Yeah. Oh. Okay.
Nothing to say?
No.
All right. So we'll move right along to our next song. This is from Am I in Trouble? This song is called Red, and it is from their brand new album Spectrum. And once again, that was Am I in Trouble with their song Red from their brand new album Spectrum. Am I in Trouble describe themselves as eclectic metal on the fringes of black. You can purchase this album on digital, cassette, or vinyl if you like this song. And regarding what the song Red is about, the band says much of the goal with Spectrum was to play with expectations and conventions in metal. So they wanted a song about death, but rather than it be overtly grim or dark, they approached the lyrics from a more matter-of-fact scientific angle. So lyrically, it's just about the life cycle of being born and eventually decaying, and that all living matter eventually gets consumed by smaller living organisms. Michael, what'd you think of this song?
Say how much I liked the ending part with the big guitar solo.
Enjoyed that, eh?
Mm-hmm. Really enjoyed it.
Got a good driving rhythm to it, right?
Mm-hmm. Agreed. I have nothing else to say.
All right. So we will move on to our next song. This next song is from a band called Timeless Rage. This is their latest single, The Devil's Masquerade.
Like a carnival refined and bright.
And once again, that was Timeless Rage with The Devil's Masquerade. That is their latest single. Timeless Rage are a symphonic power... let me retry that again. Timeless Rage are a symphonic power metal band out of Germany. Michael, what'd you think of that song?
I really like that. Um, at some points he kind of sounded like the singer from Protest the Hero to me.
Oh, yeah? He's an excellent singer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my understanding is that this is Timeless Rage's new singer. And yeah, he's fantastic. The whole band is really tight. They sound great.
Wow. Yeah.
Anything else to say on this one?
Good job, guys.
All right, so that brings us to our final song on The Art of Discovery. This is from a band called Nierensimt, and this is their new single, which we are actually getting to debut on our show, Michael. This song actually doesn't go out to the general public until January 17th. So this song is called Monarch. And once again, that was Near and Simpt with their new single Monarch, which actually drops on January 17th. They are an atmospheric black metal band out of Chicago. And fun fact, the band says the name of the band comes from an unhuman word pulled from a past life regression and carries the meaning one who looks at the stars too much. Michael, what did you think of this song?
The meaning of the word is different.
What did you think of the song?
I really liked it.
Yeah? Goes hard as hell, right?
Yeah.
I saw you over there headbanging. Yeah, I really liked it a lot too. It definitely had me headbanging. Really enjoy it. Yeah, I listened to it quite a few times since it got sent over to me. Was really impressed with it. Good stuff. Anything else to say?
Other than thank you to the bands that allowed us to play your songs on the show today. That's really it.
Yeah, I will echo Michael's sentiments. Thank you very much to all of the bands that have allowed us to play music on the Art of Discovery segment. If you would like for your music to appear on this segment, feel free to reach out to us on any of our social media accounts or send us an email. All of that information is in the show notes each week. All right, so now we will move into our main topic of the episode. This is breaking down the Beatles' 1963 debut studio release, Please Please Me. A little bit of background on this record. This record was released in the UK on EMI's Parlophone label on March 22nd, 1963. The album includes 14 songs, which include cover songs and original material written by the partnership of band members John Lennon and Paul McCartney. The album was well received in Britain, where it remained in the top 10 for over a year, which was a record for a debut album that stood for half a century, which is crazy to think about.
Holy moly.
Yeah.
Wow.
The album was not released in the United States, where the band sold poorly for most of 1963. However, after the stateside emergence of Beatlemania, VJ Records released a mild abridgment of the album, and it was called Introducing the Beatles in early 1964, while EMI's American label Capitol Records divided the material from Please Please Me across multiple albums. Please Please Me remains critically acclaimed. It was voted 39th on Rolling Stone's list of the 500 greatest albums of all time in 2012, and number 622 in the third edition of Colin Larkin's all-time top 1,000 albums in 2000. Pretty impressive stuff.
Wow. They had a lot of achievements for this album.
Sure did. The Beatles originated in the skiffle scene of Liverpool in the late 1950s, and by 1961 had solidified their lineup with John Lennon on rhythm guitar, Paul McCartney on bass, George Harrison on lead guitar, and Pete Best on drums. The band mostly played cover songs, although Lennon and McCartney had a budding songwriting partnership that also contributed material. They later returned to Liverpool in late 1961 after a stint in Hamburg backing English singer Tony Sheridan and releasing a single with Sheridan, My Bonnie, on which they were credited as the Beat Brothers. Shortly after their return, they were approached by Brian Epstein, a music store manager who recognized the group's local popularity and became the group's new manager. And after a failed audition at Decca Records at the beginning of 1962, Epstein was eventually able to sign the group to EMI that May. EMI offered the Beatles a recording contract on its Parlophone label run by George Martin. And according to George Martin, I asked them what they had, which we could record quickly, and the answer was their stage act, which was the norm for British 12-inch vinyl pop albums in 1963. Martin said further it was a straightforward performance of their stage repertoire, broadcast more or less. Initially, a morning and afternoon session were booked for the recording, and an evening session was added later. recording took place on February 11th, 1963. When the Beatles arrived to the studio, John Lennon was actually suffering from a bad cold, which he was attempting to treat with a steady supply of throat lozenges. They, be- they began their morning recording session at 10 a.m. with There's a Place and 17, which was the working title of what later became I Saw Her Standing There. The band rehearsed during their lunch break and then proceeded with their afternoon session. In that session, Paul McCartney recorded a double-tracked vocal for A Taste of Honey, and George Harrison sang lead on Do You Want to Know a Secret? Then Lennon and McCartney sang co-lead on Misery. And during the evening session, the band recorded covers of Anna, Go to Him, Boys, which was Ringo Starr's sole vocal appearance, or lead appearance on this record, Chains, and Baby It's You. The song Hold Me Tight was also recorded during the evening session, but ended up getting discarded because it was considered surplus. At approximately 10 p.m., with the studio set to close, they recorded a cover of Twist and Shout. The song was picked after a discussion in the studio canteen in which several songs were suggested before Twist and Shout was chosen. The performance for Twist and Shout, the interesting thing on this was that it was all caught on the first take. John Lennon later remarked that recording that song almost killed him. He said his voice wasn't the same for a long time after. Every time I swallowed, it was like sandpaper. Pretty impressive, Michael, that they were able to record this entire album in just one day.
It's pretty impressive.
Right? So, without further ado, Michael, let's start diving into our track-by-track analysis here. The record opens up with I Saw Her Standing There. Michael, what did you think of this song?
I like how it opens up with that like guitar. Is that guitar?
Yeah.
At the beginning? Yeah, I like how it opens up with that. I kind of like how there's literally no like short. It just immediately gets into the song. I think the vocals on this song is pretty good.
I feel like this is a really fun, kind of upbeat, poppy,
Mm-hmm.
almost surf rock sounding song.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to be a song about love at first sight. There's a great little guitar solo in the middle of this. It's just catchy as hell. It's a really solid album opener. And this one features lead vocals from Paul McCartney. Yeah, I really enjoy this song. It's a lot of fun.
It's different.
Different how?
From what we've listened to.
You mean previously on
Yeah.
other episodes?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely different. But I think what you're going to find as we start going through this album, you can start seeing the influence of the Beatles on some of the other stuff that we've listened to. The Beatles are one of the most influential groups in all of music, and all of rock music, for sure. Do you have anything else on this one?
Nope.
Okay. So we'll move on to track number 2. This is Misery. Michael, what do you got on this one?
What? Funny story. So when I first heard the song, I had a little bit of chuckle.
Why's that?
Um, it was just different from the other song. It was just like a huge jump and different.
Yeah, it
Different
definitely
sounds,
went
yeah.
from definitely not as upbeat as the first song, right?
Yeah. way back more, kind of seems.
Yeah, it's kind of a bluesy, melancholy
Yeah.
song dealing with a breakup. The lyrics indicate that the world has started to fall apart since the breakup happened. It's a good song, and I can certainly see why the ladies would have went wild for this. It's meant to tug at the heartstrings. Really good dual vocal harmonies by Paul McCartney and John Lennon on this song. I really enjoy it. Yeah. Do you have anything else on this one?
No.
No.
Other than this is probably my favorite song on the album.
Misery is your favorite song on the
Yeah.
album? Really?
Mm-hmm.
Why? I'm curious.
Um, I kind of like the guitar, just the instruments. I like the vocals. Yeah, I just like the dual harmony a lot.
Yeah, you'll hear quite a bit of that on this record. All right, so we will move on to track 3. This is Anna, Go to Him. Michael, what do you got on this one?
Can you start it?
Sure. So this is the first cover song on the record. John Lennon takes lead vocals on this one. It's another slower, melancholic song dealing with a breakup. The titular Anna from the title of the song has fallen for someone else while the singer and Anna were engaged. Lennon does a good job, I think, of conveying the heartbreak in the song. So
Yeah,
we've kind of got
definitely.
two of these slower, melancholic songs here.
I also had a little bit of a chuckle when I heard this song. It
Why's that?
just caught me off guard. Really. I wouldn't expect this from the Beatles. I don't know
Why?
why. Just
Well,
from my past.
you don't know what to
Yeah.
expect from the Beatles
Yeah.
because the
I
only song
mean,
you'd heard up to this point was Yellow Submarine.
no, like from like the first song. It's just been catching me off. Like when I first heard it, kind of caught me off guard once we like got through the second song and this song. It caught me off guard from the first song because I thought this was gonna be an upbeat album, kind of.
Yeah, so you kind of lulled you into a false sense of what the
Yeah,
album was going to be because it opened up with such an upbeat number, and the
yeah,
next two numbers are a little more slow.
yeah.
Yeah, I get it. Any thoughts on the song itself?
I really like the guitar throughout the song. I think it fits well with the theme that they're trying to shoot for. Um, but I also like the vocals.
Yeah, John Lennon's vocals on this song are really really good. He, like I said, he does a really good job kind of conveying that sense of heartache and heartbreak.
Yeah, it, it's like it's trying to be an upbeat song, but it's not to me.
Are you trying to say it's kind of like a depressing pop song?
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I mean, it's definitely something you could dance to.
hmm I mean, would you dance to
I mean, it would be a slow dance.
it?
You got anything else on this?
um, hmm. Nah.
Okay. So we will move right along to track 4. This is Chains. Michael, what do you got on this one?
I like how it opens up with the um instruments. I don't know what instruments they are. Um, and then continues the guitar throughout the song. Um, I also like the vocals. I think this is a very upbeat change since the past two songs.
100%.
Yeah. The other songs were really slow. Like not like really really slow. It's just the slow. It had to be slow because of the topic kind of. But yeah, I think my first time through, I had a chuckle throughout all of the like seeing the song names because one seeing chains is just confusing.
Uh, why is that?
I don't know. It's just it's just thoughts.
Fair enough. Yeah, George Harrison takes the lead vocals on this song. This one is definitely a bit more up-tempo and kind of an R&B pop rock style. Definitely a bit more up-tempo than the previous two songs. This is the second cover song featured on the record. And it seems to me that this song seems to be about being in a committed relationship but falling in love with someone else. I could be misreading that, but that kind of seems what it's about.
I mean, you could. I mean, I kind of see, like you're in a committed relationship with like, uh, the some of the lyrics, but I don't know about the second part of it, what you said.
Yeah, I'm really not entirely sure what exactly it's trying to say. That's just what I seem to glean from the lyrics themselves. I might be completely off base. I will say this. We've heard mostly Paul McCartney and John Lennon on vocals for this record, but I think George Harrison actually does a really good job as well.
Yeah,
I really like George's voice. He does a great job.
I think all three of them did pretty good, just
Yeah,
throughout the
and
first four songs.
all three of them
Yeah.
actually will will later go on in their careers to do solo stuff,
Oh,
and all to varying degrees of success. So yeah, um,
varying.
yeah, varying.
Couldn't find the same success that they found in the Beatles.
I
Sometimes.
wouldn't. I no. The Beatles were such a huge phenomenon, man. This record just blows them up.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if I recall correctly, the Beatles only did one North American tour, and
Oh.
that's because Beatlemania was such a huge thing in this country. They couldn't keep the fans back. So they were kind of concerned for themselves. So they stopped performing live after this record. Pretty wild. They became mostly a studio band.
That is crazy.
You got anything else on this?
Other than it's a pretty good song.
Glad you enjoyed that one.
Was this one of the cover songs?
It is. It was the second
Yeah.
cover song on the record.
What was the first?
The one we talked about before, track 3, Anna.
Okay.
All right, so moving along, we'll go to track 5. This is Boys. Michael, what do you got on this one?
I feel like it kept that upbeat feeling throughout. Like it just continued from the other song, which really kept the upbeat through this song. Really like the vocals. Um, I also like how it opens up with that the guitar riff. But yeah, pretty good song.
Yeah, so this is another cover song, and this song, if I recall correctly, was originally written for the Shirelles to sing, which was a female group.
Oh.
So interesting that the Beatles are choosing to do a cover of this song.
um,
Uh,
I mean,
this time it's drummer Ringo Starr that's taking lead vocals. The chorus on the song kind of reminds me of Ray Charles's "What I Say," and you've probably never heard that before. You probably don't know who Ray Charles is, but he's definitely somebody we're going to get to on our journey here. This is a fun, upbeat pop rock song. Features another fun guitar solo. The main guitar riff is really fun in general. That kind of reminds me, I really enjoy the tone of the guitars on this record, period. Nice and clean.
yeah, they are nice and clean. And especially for the time that they were recording from, it sounds really clean.
And pretty impressive
Yeah,
that they were able to sound, so
yeah.
tight with only having one day to record
Mm-hmm.
this entire
That
album.
too.
That's insane. Absolutely insane. Anything else to say on this?
Um, nah.
Yeah, just a side note. We've now had all 4 Beatles have a chance at the mic.
And they're all four amazing.
Yeah, they all do a pretty damn good job.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we'll move on to track number 6. This is Ask Me Why. Michael, what do you got on this one?
How about you start?
Okay, so Ask Me Why is an original with the lead vocals being performed by John Lennon. Um, this one kind of reminds me of something you'd hear on like a yacht rock radio station. It's a more laid back love song.
Yeah.
Um, it's an okay song. It's definitely not one of my favorite songs on the record. Um, yeah, I really don't have much else to say about it.
Yeah. It it kind of sounds like something that you would kind of hear on a island, like with a guitar, like the instruments. It kind of sounds like something that you would hear in Hawaii or something. I don't know. I just get that feeling. But uh, I I think it definitely is a love song. Definitely, and it's way laid back, way laid back.
Yeah, I mean it's a much slower tempo. Probably something again that y- the girls would have flocked to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
You got anything else on this one?
Nah.
All right. So we'll move right along to track 7. This is Please Please Me, the title track from the record. What do you got on this one, Michael?
I like how it opens up with upbeat, more upbeat. I like the vocals. Um, also like it kind of seems like a love song from like the lyrics I kind of caught listening through this album.
Yeah, there's
Um,
quite a few of those on this record.
yeah, but I do like the instruments a lot on this album. Yes, on this album, but on this song in particular, I really like the instruments a lot. It it's probably my second favorite song on the album.
You know, it's interesting. I tend to get the impression when we're doing these album discussions that you tend not to like the slow dance love songs. So it's interesting to me that you uh, find enjoyment with this song. Maybe we're changing your tune. Yeah, Please Please Me, it's definitely an up-tempo song. It seems to be about asking a lover to reciprocate the love and compromises that are being made in the relationship. John Lennon and Paul McCartney are sharing the vocal duties on this one. I really enjoy the addition of the harmonica, which is being played by John Lennon. It's a really fun pop rock song on the whole. Outstanding song. Michael, you got anything else on this one?
Yeah, I just like the switches and um singers throughout like the song. It's like a very slight change. You you can barely notice it sometimes.
So are you talking about from song to song or actually within the song?
Uh just from song to song. I didn't realize that it was more than one singer.
Yeah, John Lennon and Paul McCartney are kind of the primary vocalists for the Beatles for the most part. I mean, George and Ringo do chime in from time to time, but it's usually John or Paul. And I think there's actually a pretty distinct difference between John and
Find that
Paul for sure.
distinct.
What's that?
I couldn't find that.
Couldn't find the difference between the two of
Yeah.
them?
Yeah.
Maybe you need to listen to it a few more times. I guarantee you, the more you listen to it, you'll be able to pick out the differences between the two.
I have no more things to say on this.
All right, so we'll move on to track 8. This is Love Me Do. Michael, what do you got on this one?
I like how it opens up with that is that a harmonica at the beginning? Yeah,
Yes, it is.
I
It's
like how
Slim
it opens up
Money.
with that, and then you hear the drum in the background, and then uh, eventually you get the vocals, and I think that works perfectly.
So on the whole, I think Michael, this record, as we're going through it here, I think this is probably the poppiest record that we've listened to on the show so far. It's definitely not as hard rockin' as what you're used to.
Yeah, definitely a different pace from the Love record and other
Well,
records
yeah,
we've
if you
listened to.
if you're just looking at it
Yeah,
by comparison to the Loathe record, yeah,
yeah,
there's a
yeah,
big difference.
yeah. I mean, the if we're comparing a song to um one of the songs off the Love record, the Love record is more on the heavy metal side of things, while the Beatles are all the way over here on the
Yeah,
pop
they're on
spectrum.
the opposite side of the spectrum.
Yeah,
More on the R&B tinged pop rock side of
yeah.
things. At
Way
least for this
different
record,
pace.
anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, "Love Me Do." This was the debut single from the Beatles. Um, to me, this is such a fun, upbeat pop rock song. The harmonica makes a return, and it works really well in this song.
Yeah.
Um, McCartney and Lennon are on vocal duty for this one, and they knock it out of the park. The song just has this. It's a really simple pop hook, but it
Yeah.
works so well, and a great bass line. I just so happen to have gotten a really awesome set of headphones, and you can really pick out the bass line on this record, or on all the songs on this record. But the bass line on this particular song is really exceptional. Very impressed with it.
Really impressed with all these songs for the time period it came
Right?
out. Yeah.
You could definitely see why this record was so popular.
Yeah. And also kind of influence, like in in present day, how much they've influenced.
Yeah, as we get into some other artists, I think you'll really start to hear the Beatles' influence, especially on like bands like Nirvana. I think you'll hear the Beatles' influence a lot when we get into Nirvana.
Fun fact about Nirvana, I've at my school, I see people with Nirvana band t-shirts on all the time.
What's the bottom dollar that they actually know who Nirvana is?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know with today's society, music wise.
You know, here's a good opportunity for you to sell the show to people. You're like, hey, you want to learn about that band on your T-shirt? Anything else to say on Love Me Do?
Gotta.
All right, so we'll move on to track 9. This is P.S. I Love You. This is a R&B influenced love ballad with Paul McCartney on the lead vocals. It's a simple melody, but I think it works really well.
Yeah.
It's definitely a slow dance type of
Mhm.
song. I could definitely see the girls going crazy for this one. What do you got on this one?
Yeah, it definitely is a slow dance song. And it opens up real fast and ends real fast. Funny thing, when I was listening to this record, I did not realize it. I was sitting at my desk listening to it, and I it just ended so fast. I was not expecting it. It's like a 33-minute long album.
Yeah,
I thought it'd be
so this is
longer.
a now that you bring that up, this is a good spot to talk about that. So, 14 songs on this record, and it's only like 33 minutes long.
Yeah.
So, a lot of these songs are less than 3 minutes in length. Some of them are just a couple of minutes in length. Some of them less than 2 minutes. So, that's a pretty big difference between, what you see nowadays.
Yeah.
There
You
are
see
some
like
bands
7
out there
minutes.
that do
Hmm.
shorter records that are more on kind of like the pop rock end of things,
Yeah.
like Weezer. Weezer will put out like a 10-song album that's like 30 minutes long. Uh, but even they are, right around 3 minutes, 3 minutes and 30 seconds or so. So these songs are much shorter than your typical modern pop or pop rock albums.
It also kind of makes sense because why the songs are so short, because of like they only had a day to record all of these songs. So it was probably harder to fit like longer songs, and they
My
wanted.
guess my guess is that this probably has something to do with the amount of time or space that was available on a vinyl record.
I
So
did not
that
think
would
about
be
that.
my guess on
Yeah,
why these songs are
yeah.
so short.
How many I don't know how the
Because you
vinyl.
can only fit so many
Yeah,
songs on one side of a record. So,
yeah,
pretty interesting.
yeah. I did not think about that. I don't know why I did it.
Anything else to say about P.S. I Love You?
Um, Other than I really like this song.
Awesome. Glad you enjoyed it. Okay, so we'll move on to track 10. This is called Baby It's You. And this is another cover song featuring John Lennon on the lead vocals. Michael, what do you got on this one?
I like how it opens up with la la la, and I also like the instruments. Hmm. It's just a really good song overall. It's definitely a slow dance song.
Yeah, it's another one of those R&B influenced pop rock ballads for sure. This is definitely another one that would go over well for a good slow dance. It's a really simple melody with excellent vocal harmonies. Just a perfect pop rock song, right?
Yeah. It it's something I've realized over this record is there's a lot of slow dance songs on it.
There definitely are. You could tell that the Beatles were trying to sell themselves to a certain section of the audience, right? Nothing wrong with that.
I mean, there is nothing wrong with going for a certain audience.
And it worked for them. They
Hmm.
were they had the girls going crazy for them. You should see some of the videos of them being in the US during Beatlemania. It's crazy, dude. You'll never you'll never see anything like it again. I promise.
Even for Sammy Hagar.
Oh yeah, no comparison. Absolutely no comparison. Maybe the closest thing that we might get to today would be Taylor Swift. And I'm remiss to say that because I'm not a big Taylor Swift fan at all, but we both know that our your baby sister is uh
And mom.
and your mom also. So you see the kind of crowds that Taylor Swift draws in. She's
Yeah,
probably the closest comparison
big crowds.
for sure. Maybe Beyonce too. I don't know what what her popularity is these days, but I know there for a while she was it. Anything else to say on Baby It's You?
It kind of seems like more um country and pop music are popular nowadays.
I
I mean,
mean, to be fair,
mm-hmm,
those were always top musical types.
mm-hmm,
Um, Rock and roll has always been kind of on the edge,
mm-hmm.
kind of considered, you know, quote unquote dangerous. So yeah, it's always been on the fringes.
Um,
Um, Even in time periods such as the 80s where you know, 80s metal was really prevalent on pop radio stations and such, even then it was still you know, considered quote unquote dangerous. So it's always been on the edge. Anything else on Baby It's You?
um, no.
Okay. So we'll move right along. This is track 11. This is called Do You Want to Know a Secret? Michael, what do you got on this one?
I like how it opens up with that like instrument, the guitar, just string. Um, they're just can't think of it.
Are you thinking about the type of guitar?
No, like they're just going down the. Yeah, I can't think of what it's called. I've lost all train of thought.
Fair enough. Got any other thoughts on the song?
Oh, I know what. They're strumming the guitar at the beginning. Uh,
Yeah, they're playing
yeah,
on acoustic guitars this time around.
yeah, and I think this song could have been a slow dance song, definitely, in my opinion.
Yeah, it definitely could have been.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely
George. Oh, I'm sorry.
adding the acoustic guitar.
Yeah, George Harrison's back on lead vocals on this one. And it's another one of those simple R&B pop rock songs. That would certainly get people on the dance floor. Um, Good use of acoustic guitars to accentuate the tenderness of the song. I like it.
Mhm.
It's a really just
Mhm.
flat out plain and simple pop rock song, and it works really well. And again, George
Mhm.
Harrison knocks it out on the vocal department.
Yeah, I like
Great
how
job.
it it comes out of that slow strumming part into like a actual rhythm, and then it just gets you going. Basically, it goes from slow dance energy to high like fast dance energy.
Anything else to say on Do You Want to Know a Secret?
No.
Okay, so we will move on to track 12. This is A Taste of Honey. Um, and this is another cover song with vocals by Paul McCartney on the lead vocals on this. And you know, when I listen to this, it kind of reminds me a little bit of a country western song.
Yeah,
Um,
I
they
did get
they do
that
end up
feeling.
inserting some R&B influence in it, but it retains that almost country western flavor.
Mhm.
I can't say I'm a real big fan of this song. I didn't find it all that memorable. I could take it or leave it. What do you
Yeah.
got on this one, Michael?
Um, I agree with you, like with the take it or leave it, and also it kind of has that country feel, but it's just different from the other songs.
Yeah, it's definitely much different sounding
Yeah,
from anything else on the record. It definitely stands on its own.
yeah. I'm I'm not even gonna lie. The first time I listened to it, I I thought I was listening through it on Spotify, and I thought I was listening to a whole entire different band.
You're like, what's this? Did the album end? Did it transition me to something else?
Yeah. Yeah. It's just a weird song.
Yeah, it's okay. It's again, it's definitely not one of my favorite songs on the record at all.
It kind of feels like it was trying to shoot for a country feel.
Probably not far off.
Yeah.
Anything else to say on this one?
No.
Okay. So we'll move on to track 13. This is There's a Place. Michael, what do you got on this one?
I like the return of the harmonica. Um Also like the upbeatness from the guitar in the background. And I think it's just a good it just fixes what A Taste of Honey could have been.
Yeah. This has another appearance from John Lennon on the harmonica, and Lennon is also on the lead vocals with Paul McCartney providing some backup support. It's a up tempo pop rock song. The rhythm section really stands out in this song. The bass and drums both are fantastic in this. They to me they really carry this song. Yeah, I like this song.
It may be my third favorite song on the album.
Interesting. Is that just because it washed the taste of the previous song out of your mouth?
Yeah. Yeah.
Anything else to say on this one?
Other than it fixed what A Taste of Honey couldn't.
Yeah, one of these things is not like the other. It's that taste of honey.
I hate to say this. It's kind of like the inside from 5150.
Yeah, I don't think it's a filler track.
Yeah.
All of these songs that were recorded for this record were songs that the Beatles were already performing on their live stage shows. So clearly there was an audience for that song. It's just not me.
Yeah. That's kind of why I draw the similarity, because it's kind of the same thing with the inside. It has its popularity from others.
Not really.
Yeah.
Not really. I think in most Van Halen circles, most people don't like that song at all. And I don't think the band ever played it live. So, there's really no comparison there. They're completely different. Inside was meant as this kind of, goofy throwaway track where they're just having fun at the end of the record. This song, there was clearly a reason why it was on there, because there was a comfortability from the band with that song. They'd already been playing it live. Maybe it was one of those songs that was popular with the audiences. It just not popular with me. Anything else to say on There's a Place?
Nope.
Nothing else? Okay. All right. So we will move on to the final song on this record. This is Twist and Shout, another cover song. Michael, what do you got on this one?
I think this is a great ender to the album, because of the upbeatness throughout the song, and the instruments.
Yeah, this is a really fun song.
Yeah.
It's my personal favorite song on the record. Yeah, it's a cover song, but for me, the Beatles version of this song is the one I always think of when I think of this song. I love the story behind the recording of this song, with Lennon's vocals pretty much being shot, and this was literally the last song that they recorded. He's just barely hanging on to the notes as he's shouting out the lyrics. It's a really outstanding pop rock song with a lot of energy. infinitely danceable and memorable, just hooky as hell.
Yeah.
I love this song. It's a great way to close out.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And another one of those songs that would make people get out on the dance floor, right?
Yeah, definitely.
It's a really fun song.
For some reason, I think it'd be played in a skating rink. I don't know.
It'd be a good place for it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Uh, you've been going into skating rinks off and on here over the last couple of years. Yeah, I could definitely see this as being a really popular song at a skating rink for sure, or even during school dances or whatever.
That too.
Fantastic song. Michael, you got any last thoughts on Twist and Shout?
Nope.
All right. Well, with that said, we've gotten through the entire record. Michael, let's get your final thoughts and your rating out of 5.
I really enjoyed this record. It's a way different experience from Hi Beatles. Yellow Submarine.
Experimental Beatles, yeah. Definitely a long way from that.
But yeah, this was very different. I'm gonna have to give this a 5 out of 5.
5 out of 5 for Michael. I'm actually pleasantly surprised that you liked this. I wasn't so sure you were going to like it. And the reason why I felt that way was because your less than enthusiastic attitude towards the Led Zeppelin record that we covered. And I had wondered if the problem with the Led Zeppelin record was the age of the record and maybe the songs just didn't resonate with you.
Yeah.
So I was afraid
Mhm.
that it was going to be a similar story for this record.
This record, I feel like it resonated better with me than
It's definitely
yeah.
a lot more hooky. It's
Yeah.
more poppy, so it sticks in your mind.
I feel like this album kind of seems like normal day music to me. Kinda.
Yeah, and I think that speaks to the level of influence that the Beatles has on so much of modern day music.
Mm-hmm.
You're absolutely right.
And maybe I don't really know personally why I didn't really like the Led Zeppelin record. I couldn't really answer that. I think I may have to re-listen to it.
Yeah, I mentioned this on that episode that it took me a long time to really get into them. I didn't particularly like them when I was a kid either. I didn't start liking them until I was in my late teens when I really started to find an appreciation for them.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if you were to go back and revisit that record or maybe pick some other records to listen to, you might find something that resonates with you.
Mm-hmm.
But that's off topic and for another time.
Yeah, we kind of jumped off topic.
Oh, that's all right. It happens. We're having a good conversation.
Mm-hmm.
For me, my final thoughts on this record, it's easy to see why the Beatles were so popular and influential. They took the 50s rock and roll sound and added elements of R&B and pop music to create a sound all their own. This album was the beginning of their wildly successful rise in popularity. The chemistry between McCartney and Lennon is the stuff of legends. While there are some folks out there that prefer the band's later, more experimental work, I do still find that this album is absolute classic.
Mm-hmm.
Just so many eternally memorable songs laden with these great pop hooks and vocal harmonies. It's a terrific record, though not perfect, but it is only the beginning. So for me, this record scores a 4 out of 5 for me.
Um, I'd like to add some. I feel like this record actually aged pretty well,
It
sound
really
wise.
did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
And yeah.
um, when you listen to some music from like back in the day, sometimes they didn't age well.
Yeah, sometimes the recording
Yeah.
techniques used don't particularly age well,
Mm-hmm.
but I think these Beatles records just
Mm-hmm.
they they're
They age
they
like
are
fine
truly
wine.
timeless. They're timeless.
They age like fine wine.
100%. What do you know about fine wine, boy? You're too
It's a
young for some
saying.
wine.
Saying.
I know.
I've heard the saying way too much.
All right, so that brings us to our question for the audience. What is your favorite track on Please Please Me and why? Michael, anything else before we close up this segment?
Other than I enjoyed this.
I'm really happy you did. Really happy you did. We will have to do some more Beatles records down the road. All right, so we will move into our next segment. This is Can't Wait, new music that's coming soon. Michael, do you have anything for this segment?
Hoping for a new Periphery record sometime soon. Still waiting on that Kill Switch Engage record. And in 10 billion years, a Carnival record.
I've got some interesting news for you on two of those fronts.
Oh?
So I saw an Instagram post from Jake Bowen, one of Periphery's guitarists.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was earlier today, where he was showing a picture of his editing software on his computer and was working on a guitar riff. And I had seen Misha and Spencer in particular replying to the post from Jake, and then a bunch of the fans chiming in talking about this better be for P6 and all that stuff. So no confirmation from the band that that's what it is, but clearly Jake was working on something. And then the Carnival thing, supposedly, take this with a grain of salt, but supposedly they're back in the studio working on material. So
why do I feel
take that with a grain of salt.
Why do I feel that's a lie?
I don't think it's a lie. I think the band has come out and said that they were in they were in the studio, but to be fair, this isn't the first time that they've mentioned that they were in the studio here over the last several years.
We better have at least 2 records coming.
I wouldn't hold my breath on that. I'd barely hold my breath on one. So
what about half record?
keep dreaming. Keep dreaming.
A single one of these days.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think their last single came out like 3 or 4 years ago. So
I mean,
yeah.
surely.
Don't hold your breath. You might be purple in the face or dead. For me, some music that's coming up here over the next couple week time period between our episode recordings. On January 16th, Antimatter releases Parallel Matter. I'm looking forward to that one. Also looking forward to Idola's new record Mend, which drops on January 17th. And I'm also looking forward to Riverside's new live record called, I believe it's Live Id, and it comes out on January 24th. And then I caught a little bit of news about the possibility of a new Slipknot record called Look Outside Your Window. No date set, and I'm actually not entirely sure if this is going to end up going under the Slipknot name or if it's going to be another group name. It only features 4 of the members of Slipknot, and it seems to, from everything that the members of this little group have mentioned, it's a bit more melodic and experimental in sound. So it does sound interesting, and it's definitely something I'm interested in. So looking forward to seeing what comes of that. We'll see if it comes out this year. Michael, anything else on this before we close up this segment?
Hoping for a new Protest the Hero album.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything from those guys either, so
And
hard to tell.
And also, I honestly forgot the Idola record was a 2-part record.
Yeah, so the first part was Eviscerate, which was released last year. So second part of that, Men, coming up here next week. So new stuff to look forward to.
Maybe we should cover it.
Maybe we should. All right, so we are going to move into our next segment. We did not receive any listener feedback, so we're going to bypass that segment and we're going to move right into Michael's journey, discovering a song from the past. And this time around, we're getting Michael's thoughts on Edwin Starr's War. A little bit of background on this song. War is a counterculture era soul song that was written by Norman Whitfield and Barrett Strong for the Motown label back in 1969. Whitfield first produced the song, which is a Vietnam War kind of protest statement, with the Temptations as the original vocalists. And after Motown began receiving requests to release War as a single, Whitfield re-recorded the song with Edwin Starr as the vocalist, with Motown deciding to withhold the Temptations version from a single release, so that they didn't alienate the group's more conservative fans. Edwin Starr's version of War was a #1 hit on the Billboard Hot 100 chart in 1970, and is not only the most successful and well-known record of his career, but it is also one of the most popular protest songs ever recorded. It was one of 161 songs on the No playlist issued by Clear Channel following the events of September 11th, 2001, interestingly enough.
The Marvin Gaye, What's Going On would be up there.
You mean as far as a protest song?
Yeah.
It ended up holding the #1 position on the Billboard Pop Singles chart for 3 weeks in August and September of 1970. Billboard ended up ranking it as the #5 song of 1970.
Well, I was gonna go a little bit off topic. I was gonna say, I think I heard What's Going On by Marvin Gaye when I was either on the bus or some place.
Really?
Yeah.
I recall that you really enjoyed that song.
Yeah.
Looks like Starr earned a Grammy nomination in 1971 for War, for Best R&B Male Vocal. Doesn't look like he won it.
Oh.
Looks like in 1999, Starr's recording of this song was inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame. So, Michael, go ahead and take it away. What do you got on this?
When I was searching for this song to listen to it, I put Edward, and then I just had the star as like part of the song name with War.
So you thought it was Star War?
Yeah. And then I realized. And then I really like this song. I really like the background vocals. I also like his vocals throughout the song. It seems very strong. And it seems like a pretty good protest song.
Yeah, I figured you would really like this because of the history behind it, and because it was a protest song. So I thought you would enjoy this.
Yeah, I'm still kind of confused how I got Star Wars.
Do you have any other thoughts on it?
Other than it's just a really strong feeling song. It
Yeah, it's
stands
got a
out.
really strong message, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's such a funky song. I love the musical arrangement. The horn section accentuates the music and gives it extra power, gives it that extra oomph. Edwin's soulful and passionate delivery is so powerful. I love the anti-war message of the song. The bass line is just funky as hell. I love the heavily syncopated rhythm of the music. It's just an outstanding song. Great song. Michael, give us your final thoughts and your rating out of 5.
I really like this song. I'm gonna have to give it a 5 out of 5.
A perfect score from Michael on this and on the Beatles record. Good for you, man. I'm really glad you enjoyed this. I really thought you would. All right, so up next for you, Michael, on your journey, you're going to listen to Smokey Robinson and the Miracles, You've Really Got a Hold on Me. And on our next episode, we are going to be discussing Queen's 1974 release, Sheer Heart Attack. Michael, I know you've been really looking forward to discussing some Queen, so here you go, buddy. We're going to discuss some Queen. And with that said, we do want to hear from you. We will read your emails and messages on the show. We have only one request. Keep them clean. There are several ways to contact us. You can email us at lightmovepod@gmail.com. You can also reach us on several social media platforms, such as Facebook, Blue Sky, Instagram, and Threads. Details on how to connect with us are in the show notes.
If you liked the show, subscribe to us on your favorite podcasting platform and share with your friends and family. We are available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and a variety of other platforms. We are also on YouTube. Can't find us on your chosen platform? Shoot us a message and let us know. Leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. This helps us to be found in the algorithm. Make them good and we'll read them on the air. Are you in a band and you'd like for us to check you out and possibly give you a recommendation on the show? Shoot us a message. We'd love to check you out and give you a shout.
We'd like to thank you very much for listening to the Leitmotif and Movement podcast. Take care and enjoy music.